welcome back. As I introduced before going to the break, we are going to talk about the situation in Balochistan. And in order to help us understand what is going on and to give us a comparative analysis of the various governments that have ruled in Balochistan, we are joined by Zahid Gishkori, a regular on this show, an investigative reporter. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. There are other guests that I'm going to introduce, but later in the program. Zahid, what is your take? What actually brought down Sanaullah Zairi's government?
Farooq, thank you very much. I'm just going to explain the scenario. I think my headline is bad governance.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the little focus of center as well, maybe you know that Balochistan has been focus point in different perspective, but badly in bad news during the last 2.5 years.
Right.
And recently, National Accountability Bureau released its first of its kind official report on National Action Plan, which was started soon after, you know well, after
No, hang on. Who actually brought forward this report? NAB or NACTA?
National Counter-Terrorism Authority.
NACTA, right. You earlier said NAB, right. Okay.
Monitoring and coordinating all action conducted under National Action Plan by law enforcement agencies. And it brought up for the first time its official report what did happen during the last 3.5 years. The report categorically stated that 60% violence dropped down in Pakistan and 680 terror incidents happened in Pakistan. And significantly, 325 occurred only in troubled province Balochistan.
Okay.
This is one aspect, maybe troublesome for different institutions, that during the last 2 years, when the CM Zairi started ruling over the province after Muhammad Malik, 2.5 years, the province witnessed worst kind of violence.
This was one hang on, breaks please. Here is the astounding fact. Yeah. You are talking about law and order, and you're criticizing, the quality of governance. But the person hang on. The person who is taking charge is the former Home Minister, who has been there for 4 years. And yet, it is CM who was bad, not the former Home Minister.
Listen, Farooq, I understand that. Let me to complete my argument that first was this aspect. And secondly, yes, Home Minister is also responsible, but you understand well that who is controlling the security situation in the province. Of course, captain of the government is CM Zairi. He was before 4 hours ago.
And I'm going to come back to you. We are going
Another
to
one,
talk
the
about
bad
that
governance.
Let me introduce my other two guests who have just joined us. We are joined by Liaquat Shehwani, a political analyst. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Masroor Gilani, my old friend, a senior journalist, has joined us as well. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Liaquat Shehwani, we were talking about, the situation in Balochistan and how government was brought down. What do you think actually brought down the government at this moment?
Well, thank you, Pitafi Saab. Actually, this government came into existence by Mari Muaida, Mari Agreement.
Right.
And Sanaullah Zairi was the candidate for chief ministership. But he was forced to not be chief minister for 2.5 years.
Right.
And opportunity was given to Dr. Malik Baloch based on his merit that he is a person who can bring good governance in Balochistan, and the deteriorating situation would be good enough.
Right.
And to a certain, Dr. Malik did a good job in his tenure.
Right.
But in this entire period, Chief Minister was Dr. Malik, and Sanaullah Zairi, he was not comfortable with Dr. Malik, and
He was
trying to
advisor to the
destabilize.
Prime Minister, right? at that
He
time?
was, yes, he wanted to be Chief Minister, Sanawullah Zairi himself,
Okay.
and he tried to destabilize the government. What happened, the PKMAP governor and ministers, they took the opportunity in their favor, and they
Introduced a vote of no confidence motion.
no, historically, they captured the government,
Okay.
and they came closer to Dr. Malik. And they started utilizing the old funds, benefits, jobs, and
By they, you mean PK map?
PKMAP. They
Okay.
tried to oblige their workers' constituencies. This was the basic rift
Between
among
PMLN and the rest.
in entire assembly, cabinet. They started to block the MP funds of JUI, Sardar Akhtar Mangal's party,
Right.
Zamra Kachakzi, he was from ANP. So this was the basic rift.
So what you are essentially saying is, let me try to summarize it. It is basically internecine fighting within parties, and it is an issue of resources that brought down Sanawullah Zairi, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me go to my third guest, Masroor Gilani Sahab. Your take on Balochistan so far?
Yeah, well, apparently there's infighting, and there were discontent by the MPs that Chief Minister is not listening to their complaints. He's not issuing them funds. They are not able to do development work.
Right.
But if you see, there's more to the story.
Okay.
Like it relates to the forthcoming Senate Senate elections
Election, okay.
in March.
Right.
So,
By the
I
way,
mean,
it
this,
might be a slip of the tongue, but you have used the right word. Now it has become a Senate question rather than election, right?
yes, mostly it's a wider and bigger game, you know.
Yeah.
And all this is a sequel to that. I
Okay.
mean, to
And who's playing that game?
as you know, the ruling party thinks that it's establishment,
Okay.
basically,
Right.
as expected. They will say that this is establishment, but there's some credence to these claims, like because I mean, the powers to be, they don't want this current ruling party to gain majority in Senate elections.
Okay.
So if one of the assemblies is dissolved,
Okay.
or so Senate elections will be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
But
and that goes for the national election also.
Yes, it
But
impacts that.
the problem is, you said that powers that be don't want the elections. PMLN to get a majority. Do we have any tell? How do we actually surmise that they don't want it? Because otherwise, anybody could have brought down a government, right?
Yeah, even if you see the current move, you know, change has been sought by the members of the assembly. Change for what? They want a new face.
Right.
Okay, Zairi Saab was not up to their expectations. So who else do they have in mind, and what will he do when he comes?
Are you, indicating that Sarfaraz Bukti might be the next chief minister?
Yes.
And there's this perception that Sarfaraz Bukti is very close to the powers that be.
Yes, it is one factor, but as some, the close watchers see that this is not going to be an easy task, like there's no apparent agreement on the
Right.
next candidate, and everyone wants to become a candidate. So
And-
there will be, foresee a lot of infighting
Okay.
in choosing a new leader of the house.
It can be a hung parliament, and the
Yeah.
situation can lead to dissolution of assembly, knocking out one of the key constituents of
Yes.
the Senate election.
Yes.
And by doing that, delaying or plunging the country into a constitutional crisis,
Constitutional
right?
Yes, and again the question is like if the move was for the betterment of the people, that they want, Zairi Saab is not up to mark, we need a new leader,
Right.
because we want to do these things for the people. We want
Right.
better education.
There's no program.
Yeah, there's
evident.
no program. There's
Yeah.
nothing on
That is a
education has-
good point, and Shivani Sahab, I'm going to come to you, but let me go back to Zaid Gishkori. Zaid, you said it is an issue of governance. The issue is, this must be strange kind of concern, that for 4 years, nobody does anything. Only 6 months before the election, all of a sudden everybody is remembering that the governance has been really poor.
Actually, Farooq, it's very unfortunate that the province, which otherwise should be a focus point for all institutions because it's facing a lot of problems. About bad governance, it's a fact that if you remember that in the previous government, out of 39 cabinet members around in the province were facing, around 27 were facing serious corruption charges. Even right now, National Accountability Bureau also investigating more than 24 cases about former and sitting lawmakers in the province.
Right.
And around 500 billion rupees allegedly embezzled amount is being
Yeah, but-
investigated by the top corruption
but
watchdog.
if you remember,
This was one
before
of the
there was
factors.
Sanaullah Zeri, there was Dr. Abdul Malik. Same kind of accusations against his government. Before Dr. Abdul Malik, there was Raisani's government. Same kind of accusations against the very same people, the ruler of the time. The question is there any systemic problem with the province? Or the fact is that it is easiest in a province where you have been fighting an insurgency for quite some time to blame anybody because everything is unfixed.
Actually, problem is good land order situation. Of course, I'm sure would bring political instability, political stability in the province, and political instability and bad land order situation, both worsening situation in the province. And other thing is that in fight of elephant, only the grass that suffer. I think it's only the public that's suffering because a lot of Nawab and Sardars are fighting and having differences on different issues. But other important thing, we cannot ignore good governance, at least for a shorter period of time by Muhammad Malik government in the province, because it's significant on the record. If you just grab some document, official document, what was happening during the 2.5 year from June 2013 to 2015.
Right.
And then just a share, as my friend was talking about the agreement that you be just ruling the province 2.5 years and then we will do it. I think it's very sad that we are just taking turn and giving turn
Yeah,
to
why
each
is
other.
it sad? I mean,
just
they have a
sacrificing
formula,
the
they
province
followed that.
trouble.
It is democracy.
It's democracy, but can you not understand that what the province is facing for, and what exactly three major plan initiated?
It is-
Listen, three very important programs introduced by the civilian government. First was Aghaaz-e-Haquq-e Balochistan
Yeah.
by Pakistan
Billions
People's
of
Party.
rupees never spent on the people.
Yes, and the secondly by this government, first peaceful Balochistan, Puraman Balochistan,
Right.
and then now recently started by this
Okay,
Abbasi regime, that prosperous Khushal Balochistan.
Right.
But when you come up, just see the figure that they are saying that only 2,000 people were otherwise displayed on TV, that they surrender, and
Yeah,
many
but,
other
but
peaceful process
hang on,
was
but
started.
the problem is, tell me one thing before I go to Liaquat. Who do you think is going to be the CM candidate? Or who is going to be the CM now, Chief Minister?
I, at some extent, agree to your point that Sarfraz Bugti could be a vibrant candidate, but most important that who is very close and just man to security establishment, and
I mean,
he will be
remember the times when we have we sat here and criticized media's role as well. One thing that occurred to me was that everyone is talking about Bhutani. There are people who are talking about others. There's only one channel whose anchors keep on bringing up Sarfraz Bugti, and it was yours. I want to understand, you're the third person talking about Sarfraz Bugti. Is there anything
but
to
another
it?
person is also here. John Jamali could be another significant
Thank you very much. There are
candidate.
three other people. We are going to talk about all of them, but you wanted to say something about Sarfraz Bugti first.
I was not saying anything about Sarfraz Bugti.
No, he was saying that he can be up.
I was talking about.
You were shaking your head at that.
Yeah, regarding Senate elections. Well, by resigning today, Nawab Sanaullah Zeri has blocked the way of dissolution
How?
of Provincial Assembly.
How?
If he did not resign today and he was toppled down by a vote of no confidence,
Right.
then the governor would call the assembly session.
Okay.
And there were many candidates for new CMship. If the consensus was not developed on one person,
Right.
then according to the Article 112 subsection 2, then Governor of Balochistan, prior approval to the President of Pakistan,
Right.
could have dissolved the assembly. But now he cannot invoke 112
Okay.
because he has resigned based on Article 130,
That is true.
section 8.
But you are talking about a situation where elections have not taken place. You are not talking about a new candidate emerging, and who knows, the situation might play out in the same situation, same way.
But whatsoever, based on Article
If-
130,
No,
there will be
if-
many sessions to develop consensus, not one session.
Right.
Now, because he has resigned, the new...
So what the government has done today, or the Prime Minister, because of his visit there, he has bought more time.
Yes, at least he has blocked constitutional resolution of Balochistan Assembly.
For how long?
For 4 months or 5 months.
No, not exactly. How's that possible?
Look, if
next week, if there is
next
an
year-
election,
Yes.
and they have to choose a CM candidate,
Okay.
and there isn't any consensus, what happens then?
If in one session there is no consensus,
4 or 5 sessions,
That-
okay.
then I'm talking according to the constitution.
Right.
It continues unless there is a consensus on one CM, unless there is 33 simple majority for a candidate.
Right.
This process will keep continue, and a new CM will be there. Now
No,
comes
but
second
if
question.
there is a vote and there is a tie, or there is a kind of stalemate where no candidate gets the required number of votes, and then you have another session,
Speaker.
and then you have another session.
Well, if there is tie, speaker can then cast his vote.
Okay, yeah, but stalemate?
Well, stalemate will be there because
There are 5
look,
candidates. Everyone gets something like 10 votes. What happens then?
then first and second, there will be
All
election
of them
between
get
those
10.
two. Well, the constitution is silent here.
Right.
The only only light we can get from constitution in this regard that is that the process will be constant
who
and
do
continue.
Liaquat Shivani, who do you think is going to be the chief minister now?
Well, I think there are 2 candidates mainly. One is Sardar Saleh Bhutani. He has been caretaker, chief minister. He is a senior parliamentarian. And second is Jamali Saab, Jan Jamali. He has been formerly chief minister of Balochistan. He has been the chairman of Senate. He has been the speaker of Balochistan. And he enjoys good ties
And
with
you don't
other
see
members.
Jangeez
And
Murray
he knows
as
the
the third
tactics
candidate.
how to maneuver.
You don't see Jangeez Murray as the third.
Well, I don't think for 4 months Jangeez Murray is going to be chief minister. And Jangeez Murray is the minister in his entire
is
term.
no more a minister because the cabinet has been dissolved.
It is going to be dissolved. But for last 4.5 years, he has been minister, important minister of irrigation and power. But he never visited his office in Secretariat.
Okay.
All the time he is sitting at his home, and the people are going there. And his personal secretary and few members of his clan,
Once
they
again
are
you're
ruling
talking-
the whole ministry.
Hang on. Once again, you're talking about what he has done or what he hasn't done. The problem is that most of the votes that are cast in any election in Pakistan are not based on service only, but who is the candidate. And you realize there is a context, there is a history. Do you see any clear candidate, Masroor Gilani?
Yeah, there will be some candidate because they have to choose one because they have
Yeah,
dislodged
but,
people.
4 names.
But it's not the situation is not clear yet because just after the resignation, even Sarfaraz Bugti was saying many things.
Right.
Like he said, we have
But he's not the candidate, I
yes.
think. Himself,
No,
he has
himself, but he
No,
denied.
he implied today.
Yeah, he implied that-
And National Party's Hassel Bazinjo on one of his channel's program actually said that he supports Sarfaraz Bugti. as candidate?
Well, I don't think Qasim Bajjo is
Yeah.
part of federal cabinet. He is very closer to Mian Nawaz Sharif.
Yeah.
Without prior approval to the Prime Minister,
That actually proves my
former
point.
Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, is
You know,
even
yeah.
even
That
National Party is
actually
not going to be
proves
the
my point,
part
but-
of next cabinet. I'm telling you,
Let me-
National
let
Party
me-
is going to be part of next opposition for 4 months.
Right. Let us see.
You know,
carry on.
all these names are floating.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone of them can be a CM or he may not be a CM, the names which are floating now. And you never know that PMLN government, you know, do some groundwork, and if they are very serious to go there, they may again bring their own chief minister. This is a
Right.
possibility because government in power, you know, at the center, it has a lot of clout.
Right.
To do
But
do
do you
that.
see
And
Sarfraz Bukti continuing or returning to a cabinet portfolio?
it depends. I mean,
After bringing the entire house down, creating a visible embarrassment for his own party.
yes, he's actually leading the, you know, as such rebellion or rebels.
Yeah.
So he may have something for store for him, but you know, this is not the issue. The issue is we see, if we see this the entire development. It's a democratic process, people say. Yeah, it's a democratic process.
5 months
yes.
before the national
Yes.
general elections, they are
But,
having
but
this.
to see that how this democratic process is helping to strengthen the democracy in the country.
Right.
No matter which party is in power or which party should come in power, there's nobody can decide that except the people of Pakistan.
Right.
So which are missing in the equation.
Right.
So-
So you think that it is not a service of democracy?
No,
what happened?
not at all. This is not a service to democracy. This is not a service to the country.
Yeah, that bit also qualifies because of terrorist act that took place today. Do you think at this time, at this moment, we should have been focusing on these matters
Yes.
rather than infightings?
Yes, security is a big issue. I mean, innocent people are dying, and
Tell me another thing before I go to Gishkori, and that is an important question that has been occurring to me since ever. For past 4 years, whenever there was a blast in Balochistan, you know, Prime Minister of Pakistan was blamed, Chief Minister was blamed, Federal Interior Minister was blamed. Even there were people who criticized on social media, in media, the army chief or people like, ISI chief. No one ever, complained about
Bukti.
Sarfraz Bukti.
yes, because people know.
What kind of magic is there?
Yes, people know that. I mean, who controls the security? I mean, who is in charge of security in the
So
province?
Prime Minister might be in control, the Chief Minister might be in control, the Federal Interior Minister might be in control, but the Home Minister in the province won't be.
No, apparently, you know, these people.
He's thought to be unmovable,
there is-
unshakable.
The responsibility
But
is
he
on the
himself
elected leadership.
always
The responsibility of law and order security, everything it comes to the elected leadership.
Right.
But our elected leadership or our elected representative, they have control over the security apparatus of the country? Or not?
Right,
This is a
right.
big question.
That is a good question.
Listen, Farooq, I have an idea, maybe my colleagues supporting me on this issue, and we let's build an argument that why
Are
not
they supporting
Rahila
you?
Durrani be a chief minister of this province?
Why? What stake do I have or
I
you
don't
have?
I
She
don't
might
see
have
her
anybody
as a
else from-
speaker even.
No, huh?
I don't see her next speaker even.
Okay, that might be whatever it is.
But,
look, I am
this is an argument, but
I'm
this
a
is-
huge supporter of women's rights. But frankly, we are talking about a federating unit. They have their own politics. Let them decide, right?
Let them decide, and I see some sort of very important development which could harm, even which could jeopardize elections in Senate of Pakistan. There might be
And Raila Durrani can save it.
No, he didn't say that. No.
Okay.
and
He
other
didn't.
important thing that there could be a new chief minister, of course, and I probably
How soon
there
do
could
you
be-
see a chief minister coming in?
I don't see that. At least it will take 2 weeks, at least
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And this, if this political temperature goes up in the province and chaos continues, if provincial assembly stand dissolved, unfortunately, and the momentum as declared and announced by different political parties with Tahir al-Qadri in Lahore, this movement across the country, and then it stands dissolved. But I can say with political insight that KPK may be following it.
Okay, that won't happen.
KPK government and
KPK
then Pakistan People's Party
Sir, you
would be
don't
the
know the
next
Chief
one
Minister
from
of
Sindh.
KPK is never going to allow that to happen. The Chief
There
Minister of
could be a
KPK,
possibility. There could be a possibility.
Sindh and KPK are the two assemblies that will be the last one to be dissolved. And I
After
tell you
Senate.
because of the,
After
maybe
Senate.
after
Not
Senate.
before Senate.
And
Yeah, on the election
there could
day,
be a
before that.
possibility, but political temperature be on rise in the country. Most important thing,
So what
you know,
happens-
JUIF
Hang
role
on,
is
hang on.
very important in the
Hang on.
province.
If Balochistan Assembly falls, what exactly does it mean for the Senate elections? A.
It does not
B,
affect.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's the answer.
Huh?
It does not affect Senate elections.
How not? Because
Only one,
you know, one
provincial
quarter.
assembly, according
one-
to my knowledge, that it could not affect Senate election.
No, it is 1/4 of the
It will depend.
constituents. Yeah.
It will depend on the decision of Supreme Court because Constitution
Again,
is
we'll
silent.
have to go to Supreme
well,
Court.
let me explain. The Constitution is silent. In such a situation where the Electoral College, one of the Electoral College part is dissolved, what will happen? Constitution is silent and we do not have any precedent previously in Pakistan. So the,
So can
the only
Supreme-
resort...
Hang
Supreme
on,
Court-
hang on, hang on.
Yes.
Can Supreme Court also elect the people for that
No.
that province as well?
Well, who will interpret the Constitution in that particular
Of
regard?
course, but
Who will do it?
you are
That is the
supposed to
forum.
be a democracy, a constitutional democracy.
Well, if we interpret it ourselves, that only one part of assembly, there are 4 provincial and 5th is National Assembly.
And by the way, who is in charge of the Balochistan government at this moment?
In this moment,
Governor Balochistan,
yeah.
of course,
Okay.
Governor has the capacity to do that?
to rule
I
the
don't
province.
think if he had the capacity,
No, I'm
the
talking
things
about
were not
institutional
worse.
capacity. Institutional capacity. One man, the entire set of portfolios that were given to all the ministers.
He can do everything, and after that, when you know that cabinet come into existence,
But
then
speaker will be
they can just
also
give the legal
there.
cover to every
Speaker
order
is
of.
not automatically made the chief executive.
Yes, but he could be the part.
This is,
she could be,
this
yeah.
is very
She- sorry.
important question, by the way. It should be debated, but recently, you know,
Remember, we had the similar debate the day Mian Nawaz Sharif was dismissed from his office. And we were questioning who's running the country. And everybody came back with the answer that the president of Pakistan.
No, the speaker.
No,
On that time, speaker was.
No. The
So who was the
speaker
run?
in the president, and president doesn't have any set of advisors. This is a humongous issue, right, Masroor Gilani,
Yes.
with the constitution.
Yes.
That it doesn't provide an answer.
Yes, the constitution does not provide
Yeah.
alternate for a prime minister if he dies or if he resigns or if
Yeah.
he is ousted by no confidence motion.
Right.
The interim period it's a blank. It's a gray area.
Yeah.
But I think the even ministers are not there, but still
Yeah.
the
The
government
entire
is functioning.
cabinet is gone.
Yes.
The president is supposed to run the country.
Run the country.
And the issue is president, whosoever he is or she is, doesn't have that kind of capacity because doesn't have the ministers or the team of ministers who are supposed to implement.
Implement it. But,
One person can not know about finance, foreign policy, defense, water and power, energy, and so many other things.
But
right?
it also see a positive aspect of that. I mean,
Right.
if the elected leadership.
Without government, we are happy.
Yeah, no, there's no,
Well,
no,
there will
no,
be,
no. There's no government. I mean, government is in limbo or is in
will
transition.
be
The new
limbo.
government is coming, but then the country is still running. I mean, all the business is being carried out because then the things goes to the in the hands of
Bureaucrats.
bureaucracy. So for the time being, I mean, they run
And
the
do you
country.
think that it is a matter of satisfaction for the country?
Not
That
satisfaction.
unelected people are running the country during
yes.
time of democracy?
But there is
Not
a
so.
provision in Constitution, Pitafi Sahab, and in such a situation, unless next year Chief Minister get elected and take the charge, the current governor can also request the Chief Minister to assume to continue the charge.
He didn't.
Unless
He didn't.
He can.
But he didn't.
But he didn't.
Exactly.
And in this situation, now we can debate de facto governor rule. The
Right.
governor plus bureaucrats, they are going to run the government for next 10 days or 12 days.
10 or 12 days.
10 days.
We also have precedents, if you remember, in the previous government, Pakistan People's Party, what happened in Punjab. It was like same situation. in
Yeah,
Punjab, if you
for a
remember.
day they dismissed the government and then they came on streets
The
and
governor
then the government was
like
restored.
that. But we should, I think, see the thing in a very insignificant way that this province is very important strategically.
Every province is
and
important, by the way.
particularly, I understand, but strategically it's very important. Particularly,
Territorially, it is 44% of
the
Pakistan.
call
Very
given
important.
by
Resources
US,
are important,
Human
call,
beings are
but the
important.
people are not
Most important
They
call.
must be important, and there should be,
Hang on, you are Baloch, I am Baloch.
Yeah.
Come on, don't bring
No,
it
no,
up.
I'm not.
And he's also
I'm
Baloch.
talking
And
in.
the
Yes, he also Baloch.
the most important-
But look at the importance.
Let
Shahid
him-
Khaqan Abbasi. Look, the no confidence
Let him
motion
finish
was
the point.
moved on 2nd of January, and the
Okay.
Prime Minister went yesterday. It means he did not,
Take things
prioritize.
seriously.
He did not take interest, unless there are 100 plus
Hang on.
unfortunate
I mean, it is
deaths.
amazing.
Prime Minister, federal minister,
is-
they do not go to Balochistan.
It
This is the fact.
No,
we should,
but
we
it
should
is
accept
amazing and fascinating that every time anything in this country happens, it is somehow the Prime Minister's fault.
it.
Amazing.
No. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it
please
is
let
his
him
fault.
finish his point.
I say they should prioritize it.
Right.
Listen, Farooq, basically the point is different here. A budget is going to the province. There are sources, I know that. But if you just look into the history and the record released by the province in different aspects, that a huge corruption, I am telling you, in the province. And
Yeah, but if a charge is there and has been there for decades, and you have been removing governments repeatedly based on that, and they are, the previous government and the previous government are still being litigated, investigated at this moment. Either there's some systemic problem in governance model, or then it is only a political charge.
both aspects continue with the crisis, but most important, a significant role was Lieutenant General Janjua period, when he was just commanding the Southern Command in the province.
Okay.
It was very important, and province just peace, it just regained peace during this 3-year period. I mean, from 2013 to
16.
15,
Okay.
and 16 and 17 were the worst years
Okay.
when Zeri just took the charge.
Okay.
But important thing, listen, is
See,
very.
every incumbent, when he's sitting, will say that this is the worst time. And why? Because we have this cultural thing in our society where Democrats or all politicians, whosoever they are, no matter, even if installed by the establishment itself, are always corrupt. Unelected people will always be angels.
Listen, actually, the province is unfortunately in the limelight. Just a whole world is scanning, and Pakistan international diplomacy was recently, very luckily, during the last 3 months, was very successful about the province. When there were many cards and advertisement in Geneva and then in London, Pakistan successfully did well. But in US, particularly after US President call to Pakistan recently, that there could be happening
Yeah.
and there might be something wrong on the bordering areas,
Okay.
then the political crisis in the province can add more fuel
Yeah, this is
to
the
the
problem.
situation.
No, hang on. I don't know who Sanaullah Zeri is. I never voted for him. I've never been his constituent. I am a huge fan of his predecessor, right? And Dr. Abdul Malik. And at that time, I was of the view that he could have or should have continued without any stopping. Didn't happen. Whosoever brought him, right, thought that he was better man, Sanaullah Zeri. And now this very same people like
This
Sarfraz
was perhaps
Bukti
the very person
have
we
actually
discussed
dragged
here.
him down. The concern is simultaneously 3 things are happening. On one side you have the Donald Trump your government or administration criticizing it, putting pressure. The second thing is law and order situation as proven by the incident today in Quetta. And the third thing is CPEC. All these things are,
This
so
is at the top.
central to Balochistan.
China-Pakistan economic corridor.
And yet you are playing dice with the country's
and the
future.
involvement of hostile agencies in the province. But we always blame them. My question is that where we stand by, if the agencies are working in the province, hostile agencies,
Yeah, that is a good question,
Why
but I have to start
we not
wrapping up the
unable
program.
to stop
Liaquat
them?
Shivani, your conclusion, sir.
Well, I think the Balochistan main stakeholders in the government from beginning has been the chieftain, tribal chiefs. The only chief minister, Dr. Malik, he was from middle class.
Yeah.
So these tribal chiefs, they do not go for civil service. They do not have any business. The only business is politics. They get elected and come here and keep doing corruption.
Yeah.
And they have always been changing their loyalties with the different parties. But and second stakeholder has always been the JUIF. First time, however, they have been part of opposition. Otherwise, they have been involved in
If you
corruption.
believe in a country that is ruled by moderate people, today's election in Chakwal, by-election in Chakwal, should be instructive. On one side, JUIF and Sarfraz Bukti, who is again very religious and religious politician, and people like them have managed to bring down a chief
But it's
minister.
not the first
Hang
time.
on.
You know, Nawab
In
Aslam
Chakwal,
Raisani-
no. Let me tell you, in Chakwal,
Yes.
the first party is PMLN, the second party that is trailing is PTI, and the third one is Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan.
Well, it is unfortunate. I would
Should
respond-
worry you. I have to go
should
for the
be worried,
conclusion.
and this is unfortunate, very unfortunate. Last comment that Nawab Aslam Raisani, his government was also dismissed. Only 3 months. Were remained on that time
Right.
of the completion
So
of
we have to
assembly.
take revenge
But that
from
was dismissed,
everybody.
and the governor rule was were imposed on that time also. And so I think we should not.
Be taking Balochistan
ascribe it-
politics seriously, right?
No, I'm not saying.
Masroor Gilani, very
The federal
quickly.
government is not
Your
taking-
conclusion.
Yeah, my conclusion is that, these games, this should be stopped now.
Right,
This is the time. Pakistan is at a very critical phase.
right.
We are
It
not
has
re-
been for past 70
But
years,
now
but
especially-
today it is make or break, right?
No. It has. We have not taken it very seriously in the past, but now it is time to take stock of the situation and see
Right.
what dangers our country. is
And
facing
we
today.
have to start showing that we are learning a
Yes.
lesson or two from history,
And,
right?
and,
Very quickly, I have
and,
to.
and one more point. And any attempt, this political engineering or bringing governments of our own choice,
Yeah.
this will not work. This has
Yeah.
not worked in the past. It will not
And-
work
and the
again.
problem
There will
with-
be more crisis.
And the problem with that is that even your choices
Yeah.
become bad in the next few years, and then you complain about the very same
Yes.
choices. Very quickly.
My summary is Pakistan Muslim League Noon, the ruling party in the center, could play a vital role. Even it can sacrifice, and it should sacrifice just to bring up stability, political stability in the province, because two very dangerous perspective in the province going on. And I see that might be Nawaz Sharif successful to just bring it all by engaging all stakeholders.
Okay,
in
but
the
Nawaz Sharif hasn't gone there yet. But let's see, because two parties, I don't know about PMLN state at this moment, there might be a full-scale insurgency in the party. But when you talk about National Party and when you talk about PK MAP, they listen to Mian Nawaz Sharif a lot. So let us hope that a government can be formed in any case.
JUIF
And
is
one
also
more
very
thing I would
important
like to
stakeholder.
add, that in Balochistan, our main national parties, they should work
Invest
here.
more.
Invest more.
That
They-
is
they
the
should-
that is the case
Yes.
with maybe Sindh as well, because most of the parties minus People's
Yes.
Party are not doing
And one
anything.
just
Very
last
quickly,
sentence,
sir.
the last one is national political parties, PTI, PPP and PMLN
Yeah.
also should engage more voters,
Right.
more stability in the province.
On that constructive input, I have to conclude the program. Zaid Gishkori, thank you very much. Liaquat Shabani, thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. And Masroor Gilani, you came first time in this program. Thank you very much for your participation. Viewers, you have listened to our participant discussion. Will go on, but just to quote Donald Rumsfeld, there are many unknown unknowns about the situation in Balochistan or its politics right now. We don't know whether there is some kind of conspiracy or this is a conspiracy of circumstances. We'll keep on looking at it and keep bringing discussion to you. But at this moment, the fear is that this might not affect the Senate elections or the journal that have to take place within this year. This was today's program. Thank you very much for watching us. Take care.